All these voices, all these voices, all these things you can't explain, all these painful memories, they keep haunting you and daunting me. It's just the ghost of you and me. It's just the smoke and gasoline. It's just the ghost of you and me, of you and me.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Staring Into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody tonight?
We have had quite a bit of you that have asked us to talk about this new thing with the Pentagon releasing the alien footage. And so that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. For people that listen to the show every week, you know that we covered this exact thing 7 months ago. We did an episode when the Navy released these videos, and we went into great detail about it. I don't really want to go through the entire thing again tonight and just redo the show from 7 months ago, but we will cover the videos, what they are. We'll talk a little bit about what the pilot had to say that actually filmed it. There's also another very interesting thing that I would like to get into if we have time on the video tonight, and that's a little bit of the history of this, of aliens and our government. So first of all, let's start with these videos. The U.S. Department of Defense has released 3 declassified videos of what they say, quote, unexplained aerial phenomena. Now, the Pentagon said that it wanted to, quote, clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that has been circulating was real. 2 of them were published by the New York Times, and the 3rd video was leaked by an organization that was co-founded by the former Blink-182 singer, that Tom guy, Tom DeLonge or DeLonge or however the hell you say his name. I'm not a Blink-182 fan, so I have no idea. Well, after the videos were leaked, there were people that were claiming that they were showing UFOs. Other people say they weren't. You always have skeptics. I'm sure most of you listening tonight have seen the videos for yourself at this point, so it's pretty obvious from watching the videos that we don't have anything that can do what those things can do. So what's in the videos? According to the New York Times, the clip from 2004 was filmed by 2 Navy fighter pilots, and it shows a round object that's hovering above the water about 100 miles out into the Pacific Ocean. 2 other videos filmed in 2015 show objects moving through the air. One of the objects is spinning, and in one of the videos, the pilot is actually heard saying, "Look at that thing, dude, it's rotating." So in its statement, the Pentagon said, quote, after a thorough review, the department has determined that the authorized release of these unclassified videos does not reveal any sensitive capabilities or systems, and does not impinge on any subsequent investigations of military airspace incursions by unidentified aerial phenomena. So basically, what the Department of Defense is doing is releasing the videos to clear up any misconceptions on whether the videos that were circulating around were actual real videos or fake videos. Because there was a lot of speculation whether this was an actual thing or whether it was like a Photoshop kind of deal where somebody made the videos, but it's not a real thing. So they are saying, yes, absolutely, these are real videos. They were captured by a Navy pilot, and they have been released. Now, the Navy pilot, he's retired now. His name was David Fravor. And he actually spoke to CNN a while ago about what he had seen back before these were released by the Pentagon. Now, he said that the UFO was a white object. It was oblong, pointing north and moving erratically. At the time that he made this sighting, he was a naval commander, and he was flying planes for the Navy. And he said, quote, as I got close to it, it rapidly accelerated to the south and disappeared in less than 2 seconds. He said that the object had no wings. Now you might think maybe helicopter, but Fravor said that it was not a helicopter. He said that he noted clear differences between a helicopter and the aircraft that he saw. And he said, quote, when helicopters move side to side, they're kind of slow, and then they pick up speed going the other way. He said this was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. It would hit and go the other way. He said that the object, the way it moved, was unlike anything that he had ever seen before in his entire career, because of the agility of the object and the way that it handled. He said he's never seen anything that flies that can do what this thing can do. He claimed that the aircraft, that's what he calls it, had the ability to hover over the water, and then it started a vertical climb from basically zero up to around 12,000 feet, and then it accelerated in less than 2 seconds and disappeared. He said, quote, "It's easy to doubt what we can't explain." And he reminded everyone that was watching this interview that he was among other aviation experts, and they all did their due diligence on this. They all tried to figure out what it was and researched it and watched the footage over and over again to try to figure out what they were looking at. And he said it was an actual object that we tracked for somewhere around 5 minutes before it rapidly accelerated. That's pretty awesome. So here's a man who spent his entire career flying for the Navy. He has seen all kinds of aircraft, both unclassified aircraft that we're all aware of, and classified aircraft that we don't even know exists. And he is saying that absolutely nothing he has ever seen in his career can move the way this thing can move. He said it hovered right above the water, like a helicopter could just hover there, and then rapidly went from right above the water to 12,000 feet, and then zoomed off and disappeared in a span of 2 seconds. Now I can tell you, I spent the majority of my life in the military, in the Air Force. I've never seen anything that can do that. There are jets that can hover, but they do not rise very quickly. Helicopters do not rise very quickly. And whenever any aircraft that I've ever seen in my entire life accelerates and goes, it's not super quick. You can watch as it leaves. It's not like it just zips off. So according to him, and according to all of the other aviation experts, we do not possess anything in our military aircraft that are capable of doing the things that this aircraft could do. A former Pentagon official who led a government program that researched UFOs came out and he said that he believes that there is evidence of alien life actually reaching Earth. Okay, now I'm going to repeat that because that is groundbreaking. That's amazing. This gentleman worked at the Pentagon. He led a program, a government program, whose purpose was to research UFOs. He says that he believes that there is evidence that alien life has reached Earth. Here's his quote. "My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone." Now, he said this in an interview on CNN with Aaron Burnett. The gentleman's name is Luis Elizondo. Now, Elizondo told the New York Times that he resigned from the Department of Defense in October in protest over what he called excessive secrecy surrounding the program and internal opposition to it after funding for the effort ended in 2012. Elizondo said that he could not speak on behalf of the government, but he strongly implied that there was evidence that stopped him from ruling out the possibility that alien aircraft visited Earth. He said, quote, "These aircraft, we'll call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory, nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of." That's what he had to say about these ships. He said that the program sought to identify what had been seen, either through tools or eyewitness reports, and then to ascertain and determine if that information is a potential threat to national security. He said once again, quote, "We found a lot." He said that they identified aircraft that were seemingly defying the laws of aerodynamics. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological. So let me translate that. What he's saying is these crafts, these UFOs, can do things that no earthbound aircraft can do. He's also saying that they do not have wings. They do not have any visible form of propulsion. There's no fire. There's no explosions. There's no jet engines. There's nothing that appears to be propelling these things. They just simply go. And he's also saying that the speed that they are traveling and how quickly they're able to change directions and zip off, he is saying that that is out of the healthy G-force range for not only humans, but any living creature to be able to survive. That's super important. What that's telling you is that there is no way it's possible for this to be something made on Earth. Okay, so let's recap what we have here. We have video evidence released by the Pentagon that was released before by the Navy, and now the Pentagon is confirming that it is real footage that shows these UFOs doing things that no other aircraft can do. We have the pilot that filmed it saying that it was unlike anything he's ever seen in his life, and explaining to you what it did. We have aviation experts also saying that have reviewed the footage, there's nothing like it on Earth. Can't be done. We have a gentleman that ran a program for the government that's whole purpose was to study UFOs and to figure out if they're a threat to us, saying that there is credible evidence that aliens not only exist, okay, that would be groundbreaking on its own. That would be the oh my God moment if they admitted they exist. But not only are they admitting that they exist, but they are also saying that there is credible evidence that they're here, that they reached Earth. That's pretty awesome. So we've established aliens are real, UFOs exist, they're here. Okay, that's important. Now it's also obviously important for the whole reason of they just admitted aliens exist. But also it's extremely important because they're admitting that not only do they exist, but they're here. That's going to lead into the second half of this show, what I wanted to cover tonight. Because there is a quote-unquote conspiracy theory that has been around for quite a while, and it involves President Eisenhower. Now, what you have here is you have whistleblowers from inside the government that had come out and said that President Eisenhower had 3 separate secret meetings with aliens, and they described them. So I want to get into that a little bit. This occurred during the late hours of February 20th and 21st of 1954. Now, during that time, President Eisenhower was officially listed as on vacation in California, and there was periods of time there where he was unaccounted for. During those times, he was supposedly taken to Edwards Air Force Base for a secret meeting with aliens. A former Pentagon consultant, among other people, claimed that during that time when he went to the base, that he had 3 secret meetings with different alien species. Now that's also kind of important because when we think of aliens, most normal people, they think of little green men or they think of the gray aliens with the big heads and the big eyes. But here, this government whistleblower is saying there were different species that were met with. The first guy I want to talk about is an author and a lecturer named Timothy Good. Now he states that the 34th President of the United States met with 3 extremely advanced alien species in New Mexico in 1954. He said that the meeting took place at a remote airbase and that they communicated using telepathic messages. And according to Timothy Good, the meetings were witnessed by many, many people. This is a quote from him. Aliens have made both formal and informal contact with thousands of people throughout the world from all walks of life. I can tell you that in 1954, President Eisenhower had 3 encounters, set up meetings with aliens, which took place at certain Air Force bases, including Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. Now, it's a well-established fact that President Eisenhower was a believer in aliens. He firmly believed that aliens existed. Now, as I said before, this took place when he was supposedly on vacation in California. Now, during this time, he allegedly met with aliens with a, quote, Nordic appearance. So that would be the Nordic aliens, but that he actually signed an agreement with the gray aliens. Those are the ones that everybody thinks of when they think of aliens, the little guys with the big heads and the big black eyes. And I'm going to get into here shortly what that agreement entailed. But there was another whistleblower who also came out and talked about Eisenhower and these meetings, and his name was Philip Schneider. Now, Philip Schneider was a geologist and a structural engineer, and he was involved in the construction of the deep underground bases with the Army Corps of Engineers, and he was also one of the 3 people to survive the 1979 firefight between the Large Grays and U.S. intelligence and military forces at one of those underground bases. Now, he says that at this base, the gray aliens worked side by side with American technicians. And he said that in 1954, Eisenhower made a pact with 3 separate species of aliens. Now, this is interesting because Timothy Good also said that he had meetings with 3 species of aliens. Schneider said that this agreement that was made with these aliens was in exchange for alien technology. Now, according to them, Eisenhower gave permission for the aliens to abduct a limited number of human beings and to perform numerous different experiments both on Earth and in space with these people that they abduct. According to Schneider, the technology that the aliens gave us as part of the exchange included a type of metal that is pretty much indestructible. Now, the interesting thing is, during a press conference that Schneider gave in 1995, he displayed a piece of this alien metal that he was talking about. So if Schneider and if Timothy Good are telling the truth, that means that in 1954, President Eisenhower made a deal with at least the gray aliens, possibly with all 3 species. The other species were the Nordic aliens. I don't know what the 3rd species was. But according to these whistleblowers, he made a deal with at least the gray aliens that they were allowed, they had permission to abduct people. A limited number. I don't know what that number is, but apparently there was a set number of people they were allowed to abduct and to perform experiments on Earth and in space. Now, that's kind of crazy to think about, but if you really stop and suspend disbelief completely, forget about the idea that we're talking about aliens and abduction and all this kind of stuff. If this is true, it kind of closes the loop on a lot of different things that people talk about that were considered crazy before. There are a lot of different stories of alien abductions. There's a lot of people that claim that they have been abducted by aliens. They say that they are abducted, they are taken up in a ship, and there are experiments performed on them. The whistleblowers claim that the aliens were given permission to do that, that was part of the agreement for some technology. So that lends a little bit of credibility to a lot of these alien abduction stories if these whistleblowers are telling the truth. So one thing I would like to know in the comments of the YouTube video down below, what do you think of that? If that is true, let's say for the sake of argument that is 100% true, okay? If it's true, what do you think of that? That we were kind of bargained, we were thrown into a deal, that it's perfectly cool to pick some of us up and do experiments on us in exchange for technology. That's kind of not cool, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a little bit biased here because, as you know, if you listen to this show, I'm a redneck. I'm a mountain man from the mountains of Virginia. And it seems like the majority of the time, the people that these aliens are picking up and taking up into space and doing experiments on and giving anal probes to and all that, it's usually the rednecks. I don't know why they like rednecks so much, but they just love us. And they love taking us up and putting things in our butts. So I'm a little bit biased in the fact that it's kind of my people that are usually having this kind of stuff happen to them. But I'm not cool with that. I don't think it's okay that we're kind of thrown in a deal. I don't care what the hell the technology is. It's kind of messed up. And then for the government knowingly making a deal like that to seek to discredit and humiliate the people that are trying to tell the story of what happened to them. That's also beyond messed up to me. If you know this is true because you guys made a deal here, and then you try to make everybody who it happens to look like they're crazy so that nobody believes them. I mean, think about how traumatic an experience that is anyway. You're just hanging out in your house, minding your business, or maybe you go for a drive, or you're out in the field or whatever, and all of a sudden aliens abduct you. I don't know if they beam you up. I mean, there's all kinds of different stories. You know, some people claim they see a white light and they get sucked up into the ship. Some people claim that they're just hanging out in their house and all of a sudden there's just like hours missing and they don't have any memory of what happened. But imagine you're just minding your own business and all of a sudden you find yourself in this nightmare. And you got these crazy looking aliens that take you and you're up on their ship and they're doing experiments on you. Now everybody talks about anal probes, and I talked about it in this episode as well, just as a funny little thing, because it's what everybody talks about, but there's a lot more than just anal probes that goes on in these experiments. I mean, some of them are almost like an autopsy, where they're actually kind of cutting into you and checking you out and seeing how you tick, seeing what parts you got and how they work. Now, obviously, if they're able to travel here from wherever they are, they're way more advanced than we are with their technology. So somehow they're able to do this and put you back together so that there's no real sign that they've been there. But think about how traumatic that must be. And then nobody believes you. Your own government, who knows that you're probably telling the truth because they made that deal, denies you and says you're crazy. And the media makes you look like a crazy person. That's wrong, man. That is just terrible. So I'll be interested to see down in the comments once this hits YouTube what you guys think of that. Because it's kind of a different way to look at it. Is that right? Or is that wrong? I think that's 100% wrong. Now, one exciting thing that's come out of all of this is the government has pretty much admitted aliens are real. So much so that it even reached the President of the United States. Not just Eisenhower, but President Trump as well. Because President Trump was asked about this, about the Pentagon releasing these videos. And one of our listeners actually sent us a screenshot of his response. And Trump himself called it one hell of a video. So here you have the President of the United States not even denying it. The Pentagon released it. They're saying it's real. The Navy says it's real. You have a whistleblower that ran a government program whose sole purpose was to investigate UFOs, saying it's real and that they're here. So this is a pretty easy verdict for me. They're real and it's here. Now, I already knew that. And if you've listened to our show for a while, you know that we know that. Because of some of the things I've done in my past and some of the experiences we've had, I know that aliens exist. And I know that they're here. But this is cool, man. The government is finally admitting it. Now, here's the thing. I don't think it ends here. I don't think this is a one-off. I don't think it's going to be, oh, hey, look, you know, there was these videos the Navy released, and we're just letting you know they're real, so go on back to your lives. I don't think that's what's happening here, guys. I think that we are getting ready to have a lot more releasing. Not just of videos, but I think we're getting close to the government actually coming out and saying, aliens exist, they're real, they're here, and here they are. Let us introduce you to them. I think that's what's getting ready to happen. Now, it might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen next week. But mark my words, I think that's where we're heading. And there's a very good reason why I think that. For my entire life, it has been deny, deny, deny. Constantly. I have seen with my own eyes footage being doctored and altered. Footage that gets released to the public where certain pieces have been removed that show UFOs on them. I've seen it myself. That has been the quote-unquote company line for my entire life. So much so that people that have worked in the field and have worked for the military and the government who have had access to these kind of things, you are, I don't want to say sworn to secrecy, but in an effect, that's what it is. You have to sign NDAs that say that you are not allowed to speak about this. Now, a normal NDA in a business world or something, if you break it and you talk about it, they'll sue you and you'll pay a lot of money. It doesn't work that way with a lot of these dark agencies, let's put it that way. Agencies that aren't really on the books but exist. If you break your NDA with them, they don't sue you, they kill you. And they will kill anybody that knows you, that they think you might have told. So for this to be released by the government is a big deal. That means something. It's not simply that, oh, well, it's out there, we got to say it's real. Because they don't do that. It doesn't matter what gets out there. They deny. They come up with dumb reasons. Oh, it's swamp gas. It's a weather balloon. I've heard them all. And it's all BS. They're always denying. For them to turn around and say, yeah, 100% it's real. And they're here. That is a big deal. That means that there is a plan in place. There's an agenda to release this information. If these people feel confident that they are allowed to speak on it, now you might have one guy that goes rogue and says, the hell with it, I'm going to say it. But then he'll say it somewhere. Wherever he says it will get erased. That show will disappear. Those people will disappear. He will disappear. And you'll never hear anything about it. That's how it normally works. But for multiple people involved with this to come out and be able to do interviews on CNN and to be able to say, yeah, it's real, no problem. And for the Navy and the Pentagon to release this information and to say, yep, it's real, that just doesn't happen. That's not an accident. That's not, oh, well, they just couldn't lie no more. Because believe me, they can lie more. That's not what this is. This is 100%, there is an agenda in place to release this information. Now, the reason I tell you that is because if there is an agenda in place to release this information, which I'm telling you that there is, that means there is no possible way that it ends here. Because it would make absolutely no sense. Because there's no point in just releasing this footage and being done with it. There's more to come. As it comes, we will, of course, cover it for you. We will give you the information. We will tell you what we know as it comes. But this is a very exciting time, and it's also a kind of scary time, to be honest with you, because you have to ask yourself why. Why, after all these years of secrecy and lying and threatening people and point blank killing people to shut them up, why now are they all of a sudden saying, oh yeah, no problem, it's real, no worries? Why? That's the question. And unfortunately, I do not have an answer for you. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden they're completely cool with everybody just talking about it. But if I find out, I will try to let you know, depending on what it is, what the answer is. But I think we're all going to find out here very soon anyway, because I think this isn't over. There's going to be more released. So with that being said, I want to throw over to Old Boy and get his opinion on this.
Thank you, brother. And like you said, we did a show about 7-8 months ago about this, and now they're talking about it. And Trump's even said something. Trump still kind of said he doesn't believe in it, but there's other things going on with the coronavirus and other stuff. So he said it was crazy seeing the video, but he's not going to come out yet and say, oh yeah, they're real, because like I said, most people can't handle this. Imagine this comes out. People don't even want to believe this anyway, since even Fox, CNN, everybody's been talking about it. So most people are not going to be able to handle this anyway. So they're going to gradually, again, baby everyone with this. Because me and James were well aware there existed. Now people are still all their, fake videos. They're not fake videos. I've seen this crap. So you're telling me there's probably, millions of videos now? Okay, maybe 90% of them are fake, but come on, guys. Now even the Pentagon's even saying they're real. They're not saying 100% they're real, but they're just saying it's not ours. It's not from this planet. So come on, guys. You know, and the Eisenhower thing, I've heard about it forever. The Men in Black, you know, we got our technology. Where do you think they said some of our cell phones? Where do you think they got like Wi-Fi, the wiring, 5G? There's even stuff coming out about the 5G. That's another show we got to do eventually. But where do you think we got all this? The bulletproof. They said when Roswell, we've got some of the ideas from them, because we have jumped from a certain time when all this stuff was going on. We jumped and got all this stuff, computers, everything, the technology, the microchip, all that stuff wasn't accidental. We found out from somebody. It just didn't happen. The guy didn't wake up and go, oh yeah, that's what I thought. We are smart, but come on, guys. There's things that we have found out because of that. And I don't put it past our government, because they, you know, why wouldn't I? Hey, you see that I'll give you a couple people, you take them, you do whatever you want, and we'll make them look like liars, because we don't want people to know the truth. Because if you have people who know the truth, then people will flip out and they'll turn against their own government. People will go crazy. Imagine that. Imagine tomorrow, guys, and I'm going to show you an example. If Donald Trump came on TV and said aliens are real, they have been real for a long time, and we're finally going to admit it to you guys. Half the country would probably say he's crazy, because they don't, and because somebody like CNN or something would say he's lying anyway, so we would have a big mess. But come on TV and say that aliens exist. Here they are. Some people wouldn't believe it, because they've seen so many TVs. They just think the government's lying to us. There'd be a good percentage of people that said they wouldn't believe it anyway. Till it came to their yard, and they visited, and came to your city and took everything over. Because I think that's what's going to happen. Because they are blowing us away in technology. Just put it that way. We are nothing to these beings, aliens, whatever you want to call them. I believe they're the reason why we're here in the first place. I believe they have a lot to do with our history, and we're going to find this out later on in life. We are already starting to. But once they come, there's different ones. There's good, bad, medium. Some that don't even care. This is just a stupid planet. We're here. I believe there's other species too. But when they finally admit to this, I don't think people are going to take it right. I think people are going to do the same thing. They're going to go crazy. People are just going to go crazy, because it's going to change everything you thought of. Religious-wise, belief-wise, everything is going to change, because it's twisted your whole, what you thought and were taught. Remember, everybody was taught something. We were taught we were only people here. Well, that's not true. Millions of galaxies and planets, billions of planets, that's impossible. The mathematical odds of us being the only species on this planet and anywhere else in the galaxy is impossible mathematically. It's impossible. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Is if certain things come out, don't be surprised. It might not happen, like I said, tomorrow or today, years from now. Just remember that. It's coming. Maybe 10 years, maybe 100 years. But one day, maybe we'll be dead when you listen to this show, and I hope not. But one day, you're going to listen to this show we're listening to right now. Like 7 months ago, we did the same thing. And all you guys are crazy. And I know people are going to say the same thing. It's all made up. It's something for the government. And you'll listen to this and you guys, God, they were right. Both of them. They were right. And we were wrong. I know somebody right now is going to be tomorrow when they listen to the show or whenever. They're crazy. Well, one day we're not going to be crazy. And you guys are going to be like, wow, they were right. Somebody will. Maybe 100 years from now. But I believe it's going to happen sooner than 100 years. I believe it's going to happen in the next 10 years. A lot of weird things are going on, like James was saying, especially since 2020 has hit, there's been a lot of weird things. Even before 2020, this whole last year or so has been weird. It's coming. Something's happening, I believe, not just with this corona. I just think there's other things going on. We just can't really talk about it. There's more stuff coming. This isn't going to be the end of what you're going to hear. There's going to be more and more weird stuff going on. More and more things are coming out. And you guys are going to get your minds blown when it comes out. And we'll keep talking about it. This won't be the last show we'll do. Trust me on it. We'll be talking about this again. I hope you guys get ready for it soon, because we'll be talking about this same thing again. And I don't put it past our government to do what they did, trade secrets and new technology for a couple, to what they would say is subjects, unknowing. Of course they're going to make him look like liars. Come on, guys. You think they want people to know the truth? They're going to make you look like a liar anyway. Most things that you find out, they make you look like a liar. It doesn't matter what it is. Look what's going on in the government right now. Stuff has been coming out that they were saying people are liars. Now they weren't lying. They just make them look like that, because just that's how the government is. Every government is. They don't want the truth to come out, so they make a lie, another lie, another lie, and then the truth comes out later on, because then people are so like they don't even know what to believe, and that's what they do. They put one key here and have 100 keys over here, and they put them all together, and you don't even know what the truth is, and then you find out the truth was really the truth. They just didn't want you to know about it, because people can't handle it. I'm telling you, 90% of these people found this out tomorrow. The whole world comes out and said, "Oh, aliens exist, guys. We're not really running the show. They are. We pretend to make you guys feel good, but they've been running it for years." What would you do? You wouldn't know what to do. People would go crazy. People would probably do bad things. God, I hope that wouldn't happen, but they would go out of their mind. There would be people trying to fight them. It would just happen. So yes, I believe there exist, and I believe those videos are real, and I believe it's more coming. And you guys better stick to our show, or anybody's show, and start listening to this stuff, because I'm telling you, things are going to get crazier, and it's going to get crazier and crazier and worse. Watch, guys. Just mark my words and James's words. This is not over, and it's going to get more and more out there. That being said, there you go, James.
There are a couple things that I'd like to address quickly that I hear all the time when people are talking aliens. First, I'd like to address the people that do not believe that aliens exist. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to call you stupid. I'm not going to do any of those things that you do to us. I simply would like you to ask yourself a few questions with me. Our planet is one of either 8 or 9, depending on what you feel about Pluto, in our solar system. Our solar system is just one in hundreds of thousands of solar systems in our galaxy. Maybe millions of solar systems in our galaxy. Our galaxy is just one in thousands and thousands of galaxies in the universe. So it's easy to say that there are probably hundreds of millions of other planets out there. Out of all those planets, I guarantee you there are at least hundreds of thousands of planets that could support life as we know it on Earth. But that does not necessarily mean that the other ones cannot support life. Because alien species don't have to be like us. Just because we require oxygen to live, just because we require certain things, does not mean that an alien species would require those same things. On our own planet, there is life that lives in the bottom of the ocean, in the vents, the geothermal vents in the bottom of the ocean, where there's nothing but sulfur and monoxide and all kinds of terrible chemicals that are toxic as hell and poisonous to us. That's what they live on and breathe. There's life there. We couldn't live there. Even without the water. Take the water away. We couldn't survive there even if there was no water, because those fumes would kill us. but there's life there. Something can live there. So the idea that we are alone, that we are the only life in the entirety of the universe, is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that's true. There's life somewhere else. Now, if that life is able to reach us, that means that they are way more advanced than we are. Now, that's going to lead me to my second point that I would like to address. Because I also hear people say, well, if aliens are real and they came here, why would they do that? Because they would have to be so far advanced from us in order to make it here. So why would they bother with us? Some primitive dummies that can't do anything. Why would they do that? I'm going to answer that question for you. The reason is because we are interesting as hell. Think about it. We're these crazy, hairless apes that wander around this planet blowing stuff up, fighting each other, arguing, kicking, screaming. We're out of our damn minds. We are interesting as hell. We are like the greatest reality show in the universe. Now imagine, they look at us as a much less advanced species, okay? We look at other species on our own planet as much less advanced as well. Let's take monkeys, for example, whether it be chimpanzees, gorillas, whatever, it doesn't matter. Some sort of ape. We look at them as less advanced than we are. We are so much better than them because we can do all these other things. We have all this technology. We can do all kinds of stuff. They can't do anything but smash rocks and stuff. So we're way more advanced than they are. Now imagine, you look out your window and you see a chimpanzee grab a bag, put it over its head, jump into the ocean, and try to swim down and breathe in that bag. That would be interesting as hell, wouldn't it? You would definitely watch that. You would walk over and say, what the hell is this thing doing? Why is this monkey doing this? That's crazy. But also, there'd be a part of you that would be intrigued. You would be impressed. Because you'd say, whoa, wait a minute. That monkey is trying to make a diving suit. It's trying to breathe underwater. That's incredible. That is mind-blowing. That is amazing. I got to see what happens. They probably look at us the same way. Now, notice in the reports that I talked about tonight, the pilot, all the experts, they said there's no visible means of propulsion. That means that these aliens are not using combustion as a way to move their ships the way we do. In order for us to get into space, we got to strap bombs onto our rockets. I almost said a bad word. We got to strap bombs onto ourselves and shoot ourselves up into the sky to break through the atmosphere to get into space. Now, the aliens have mastered other technology. They have other elements that are able to propel their craft. So us strapping a bomb to ourselves and shooting ourselves into space, it's a lot like watching that monkey put a bag on his head and try to dive to the bottom of the ocean. It's the same thing. They're probably like, look at these crazy people. They're strapping explosives to themselves and trying to fly. But then there's part of them that says, wait a minute. They are trying to go to space. Look at this. That's amazing. And look what they've accomplished. They have space station now where they can live in space. They can go out and travel to the moon. This is amazing what these savages are able to do. We are very, very interesting. We fight way out of our weight class all the time. What I mean by that is there's no reason why we should be able to do the things that we can do. We do not have the technological capability to do most things that we do, but we do them anyway. Because the human spirit is unbreakable. We always find a way to accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. Yeah, a lot of us die in the process because we're not there yet. But we always try. If there's ever a mountain that people say is unclimbable, I guarantee you there's somebody who's trying to climb it. Now, there'll be a lot of people that die. Look at Everest. A lot of people die every year trying to go to the top of Everest. But there's been people that have succeeded. When we first took to the skies, when the Wright brothers first were able to fly at Kitty Hawk, there were a lot of other people that were trying too. And a lot of them didn't end so well. But we did it. My grandfather, when he was born, cars didn't exist. People got around by horses. And in his lifetime, he saw it go from horses to landing a man on the moon. And when we landed a man on the moon, the computers that we used, a wristwatch today has more computing power than they had to get to the moon. But somehow, they pulled it off. That's what human beings are capable of. We are freaking awesome. Yes, we are uncivilized as hell. Yes, we are dangerous. And I guarantee you that's probably why you don't have aliens coming out and introducing themselves to us. They don't say, hey, hi, how you doing? My name is Arnak. I'm a gray. I'm from the planet Nebula or whatever. They don't do that because they know what we're like. We're going to take them out. We're going to get them drunk. We're going to kick their ass, steal their spaceship, and wreck it into a tree. That's kind of what we do. We're kind of a little bit screwy. But one day, maybe we'll be part of that, whatever it is. Galactic Federation or whatever, like from Star Wars. Maybe there is something like that out there. And maybe one day we'll take our place as one of the planets in that assembly. Maybe not. It all depends on if we can ever stop killing each other and get along. Which, honestly, I don't see a whole lot of hope in that. Because one thing human beings love to do, it's fight. And we'll fight over just about anything. But to address that issue of why would they bother with us, why the hell wouldn't you? I would definitely watch that show if it was on Netflix. And you would too. Think about what human beings do. Think about the crazy stuff that we accomplish when we have no business doing. We built submarines that could go to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, where the pressure is so great that if you're down there for very long, that submarine will crush like an aluminum can. That's how much pressure there is down there. There is no good reason to go there other than they said it can't be done. And when you say something can't be done, there's going to be a badass human somewhere that's going to say, oh yeah, hold my beer. Because I'm going to do it. That's what we do. That is why they would definitely be interested in us. That is why they would travel however long they have to travel to get here to watch us do what we do, because we're entertaining as hell. So that's about all the time that we're going to have for the show. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that we did justice for the people that really wanted us to cover this. I hope that you found it pleasurable to listen to. If you want way more detail and way more information, go check out the other show we did 7 months ago. It's called U.S. Navy Admits Aliens Are Real or something like that. I covered these videos back then when the Navy first released them, and I went into great detail on it. I just wanted to touch back on that. I wanted to get into some stuff about some of the deals that might have been made with these aliens in this episode. And there will be further episodes in the future. I don't think this is over. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening. I'm going to throw back over to old boy and let him do his sum up.
Thank you, brother. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I like doing these kind of shows because it really interests me, and it's just something we agree with. One day, maybe we'll be in one of these federations, or one day that they're just going to leave us alone to destroy ourselves. And like James said, we keep fighting and fighting. That's what it is. We have a human spirit. We just don't give up, even though we've been told you can't win. And we'll keep fighting. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed us on Parallax Radio, guys, and Staring into the Abyss on Sunday nights at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern, technically 12 o'clock on Monday morning, too. We're going to try to get on, and they play other sister show radio stations, too, and YouTube on James Hershey's YouTube page. You want to listen to anybody else, our old shows, go to James Hershey's Jr.'s YouTube page and subscribe. And we also have online shop. You guys want shirts or blankets or iPhone cases and stuff like that, let us know. You can get it, whatever you want. So I hope everybody has a good night. Misfits, sugar ladies, monster hunters, and demon lovers, I love you. Have a blessed night and blessed be. Bye.
The YouTube channel is youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. That's where all the episodes of Staring end up. I put a replay of the show after it airs on the radio. I put it there the next day. That's also where the Tales from the Abyss TV show that we do is, and a bunch of other videos that we do on different articles and different subjects that aren't big enough for an entire show. If you are watching this on YouTube right now and you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you are watching it because it was in your recommended videos, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. There's a whole bunch here. There's hundreds and hundreds of videos. There's a bunch of these shows, which are an hour each. There's shows we do where we go on investigations and we solve things, and there's all kinds of cool stuff here. So please hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on the radio, go check out the YouTube channel because there's a ton of stuff there for you. The merchandise store is teespring.com/stores/staring into the abyss. That's teespring.com/stores with an S on the end /staring into the abyss. That's where all the merch is. There's shirts, hoodies, posters, pillows, coffee mugs, the whole kit and caboodle. Everything's there for you. There's all kinds of different designs now, and the quality is really good. So if you're into merch and that's something that you want, that's where you can find it. Thanks again for listening. Thank you for all the support that you give us. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. And until we speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.